Yeah, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sports Against the Grain. Shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out my nigga Snap. Appreciate you adding me, bro. Yeah, for everybody else, this video is devastating news. This is the type of shit I like to report. So the Giants star receiver Malik Nabers tore his ACL yesterday in the second quarter against the Los Angeles Chargers at their home game. In the second quarter, Cam Hart, the Chargers cornerback, was guarding him, and Neighbors was attempting to sort of shield Hart away from the ball by slightly pushing off. It's a normal tactic that wide receivers do. And as you know, cornerbacks have a blind side. So Cam Hart inadvertently, I can't say inadvertently, like there was contact. He bumped into Neighbors, and as Neighbors was planting his right leg, it was flat on the turf. And when Hart made contact with him, it straightened out his leg. So since his leg was straightened and stiff, that was when the tear happened. He jumped up to try to get the catch, and yeah, the rest was history. He was obviously in pain. He was in agonizing pain. He got carted off. So this is a devastating blow for the New York Giants. And it's bigger than just reporting sports on this channel. I have a concern for any athlete's health or any human's health for that nature. And it's a shame because the Giants were just starting to get together this season. Well, Russell Wilson played horrible last week in that Chiefs game last Sunday night, and they started a rookie Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback over him, and he had a pretty solid game. And he led them to their first victory against the undefeated 3-0 Chargers. And Neighbors, he was still second on the team with yardage. He finished the game with 2 catches for 20 yards, average of 10 yards. And he was having a hard time getting going this season with Russell Wilson. Uh it's been a rough start for the Giants. They lost their first 3 games, and in the first game against Washington on the 7th of this month of September, he had 71 yards, 12 targets, but it was only 5 catches. And then a few weeks ago on the 14th was a monster game for him. He had 13 targets, which resulted in 9 catches for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this is the Malik Neighbors that we saw his rookie season. As we all know, this is his second year in the league. And last week against the Chiefs, he only had 13 yards, 7 targets, 2 catches. So there was frustration going on between Neighbors and the Giants head coach Brian DeBall. And it doesn't seem like he was really being toxic or anything. You just get frustrated as a competitor when your team is down. So, unfortunately, the Giants are already having a rough season. Without Neighbors, they lose their fastest wide receiver. He runs about a 4.35 40. This guy was a freakish athlete coming out of LSU, and he was a high first round pick. He was, I believe, the fifth. No, he was the sixth pick in the 2000, and he was a 2000. Yeah, he was a sixth overall pick in the 2024 draft last year. And without Neighbors, now the Giants are gonna have to lean towards Darius Slay. He runs about a 4.4, like a high 4.3. So he's still fast. He's still very, very fast. But I'm telling you that point 0.5 to like 4.4, that half a second's major. That they don't have a deep ball threat no more. Darius Slay can make separation, but They have a really small roster at the receiver position as far as their main receivers. All the receivers are about 6 feet or a little shorter, all around 200 pounds or under. They have a speedy, fast, athletic offense. They do have the rookie Collins at second string. He's about 6'3", 2 something. I think they're going to give him a chance because they don't really have any big receivers that are past 6 feet that are starting. Another option that the Giants could consider doing is possibly adjusting their offense to a double tight end formation with Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger, but they're not high octane tight ends. They don't have a lot of firepower at that position, but they do need some taller and more bigger physical receivers and passing options downfield for Jackson Dart. It's wild because the Giants just are plagued with a history of their star players turn ACLs. As we know, before this one, Saquon Barkley, when he was on the Giants, he tore his ACL in the 2020 season. He came back the very next year, and the Giants' offensive line just couldn't take care of him. And not only that, just freak accidents is something you can't control. And then before Saquon Barkley, well, this doesn't really count, right, as far as Giants history, but Odell Beckham will always be linked to the Giants. He tore his ACL twice after leaving New York. The first time, I think, was in the same season that Saquon tore his in 2020 when he was on the Cleveland Browns. And as we all know, the more infamous ACL tear was when he was a part of the Rams in that Super Bowl game. He tore his ACL for the second time in that first half. But my real Giant fans out there, this wasn't really quite an ACL tear with his next player, but y'all know I'm about to say Victor Cruz. Homeboy was swagging. He used to do the salsa every time he scored a touchdown. I always imagine what if him and Odell Beckham were to play together, but it's unfortunate that Giant fans never saw that. And I hate to break it, but obviously Saquon joined my Eagles, and it just sucks. It just sucks, man. Like I said, I'm not buying so much channel with anything. I really hope that Malik Nabers is back strong next season. If he misses all next season, I just send my prayers to him. And it's just devastating. As a football fan, we all love watching star players like him get off, and he's amazing talent, man. He's just an amazing talent. So I'm gonna go over a few of his games in his rookie season in 2024. So like in week 2 against Washington, he had his first 100-yard game. He had 127 yards. Um, and then a few weeks later, he went against Dallas and had 115 yards. That was like week 4. And then you fast forward towards the end of the season, like week 17 against the Colts, December 29th, he had 171 yards. So he had 3 100-yard games his rookie season last season, and he caught for over 1,200 yards. He had 170 targets, and he had 109 catches. So he was very efficient wide receiver. This guy can run any post, any type of deep route, anything short or mid. He's an all around, just legit unstoppable wide receiver. Very elusive, swifty, has tons of moves. He's physical. Don't let his height fool you. Like dude's a dog, man. I really hope that everything's all right with him. But speaking of Odell Beckham, excuse me, he's a free agent. I don't know if the Giants are going to sign him. He did tweet a post talking about giving a shout out to Malik Nabers and the Giants, wishing them all well. Another free agent at the wide receiver position is Nelson Aguilar. They're both older in their 30s. I just don't think they're really going to make quite the impact that to replace Nabers. And of course, Odell's not the same player. And it's wild because they just got their first win against an undefeated Chargers team and playing very well. They're just starting to click on offense because out of 2 out of 4 games this season, the Giants just weren't scoring. Like in the first game against Washington, they only had 6 points, and then last week against the Chiefs, they had 9. And wow, their numbers as far as team league ranks is atrocious, man. Their their points per game is 28th in the league. They only average 18.3 points a game. Their running and their passing game is actually pretty decent. They just have issues scoring. The whole thing with them, they just have issues putting up points. But as far as us getting moving the chains downfield, they're not really a bad team. They average over 300 total yards a game. And if you look at their defense, damn, this ain't gonna cut it, man. They're 30th in the league in total defense. They're 29th in the league in rushing yards given up a game. They're 25th in the league in passing yards given up a game, and they're 23rd in points given up per game. I just don't know if the Giants have a chance in the NFC East because the Eagles are 4-0. They might have a chance because the Commanders are only 2-2, and as I reported yesterday, and the Cowboys thriller with the Packers, they're 1-2-1 now. So this is looking like the NFC least. Just like a few years ago when all four teams were trash. Maybe the Giants can pull it off with Jackson Dart. Maybe just maybe they sign a free agent wide receiver. They adjust their offense. But one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is Cam Scoutable, the rookie running back. He's a stud, man. I really think they need to get him going. They already have a solid run game, like I just mentioned. If they could somehow create some offense without Neighbors and get Scoutable some more looks because they weren't really feeding him early on in the season either. I think they have a solid chance to maybe get a wild card spot, but the other conferences are a lot stronger than the NFC East. It's going to be a long season for the Giants. I hate to say that to the fans. They're already having a terrible start, as we all know. Yeah, man. It's basically the biggest game he had was just against Dallas on the 14th, like I mentioned. He had 9 catches for 106, yards, 2 touchdowns. That was an overtime game that they lost in. It's just a bummer, man. And I got some more horrible news to report before I get up out of here. So it also has to do with the Giants organization. So their head honcho, the owner, was diagnosed with cancer. We're not really sure what type of cancer that he has. It wasn't diagnosed, but this is just really sad news because they this family of the owner has owned the Giants since like around the 1920s. So yeah, Mr. Moore, John Mara, we're all praying for you, man. It's bigger than sports. This is real life. Pray for Malik Neighbors. Pray for John Mara, the Giants owner. And, good luck to the Giants this season. If they could turn it around, great. But more importantly, let's hope these two men recover well with both of their devastating health situations. Until next time, this your boy G. I'm out.